Creating the perfect miter for my projects can be frustrating. Lately I've found a much easier way to get that perfect miter for both simple and more complex projects every time. Now I'm getting exact results, saving me frustration and wasted wood. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at the MiterSet, both standard and segment jigs. The MiterSet standard includes the base, which is made for a Shopsmith, 2 base pins, and the detent bar. Some additional things I like about the MiterSet: the handy carry case keeps everything organized. It's got a non-skid backing, and I really like the large numbers and pins that make it easier for me to work with. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at the MiterSet, both standard and segment jigs. This is going to work. We'll set our pins in 0, loosen up the miter gauge, and when we put the miter gauge in the slot and bring the miter to the pins, we know that's exactly 90 degrees. By simply putting the pin in the 45-degree hole and bringing the miter gauge to touch both the pins. See, it doesn't matter how good a job you did aligning your miter gauge. What's important is that the face of the protractor is touching both pins. That guarantees us the precision and accuracy of 45. We wanted to go to, say, 22.5. That's a very common angle for an 8-sided picture frame or 8 segments. 22.5, we'll go with 20, and that's where the detent bar comes in. The detent bar has 5 segments that are each a ½ degree. So if we wanted to go to 22.5 degrees, we would add 2.5 degrees to the 20, making it 22.5. The segment MiterSet works a little bit different. It has the same base with the exclusive Shopsmith miter slot, the 2 pins, which is going to help us set 90, but instead of using degrees, we just use numbers. Those numbers are the number of segments or the number of sides on our picture frame. For example, if we were going to make a 4-sided picture frame, that would be a 45-degree work angle. We set it on the 4, and then we just bring our miter gauge to 45. That's neat, isn't it? Doesn't matter what our scale says here. What matters is once those pins are lined up, we know that's exactly 45 degrees. We can go up to 20 different pieces or segments. If we wanted to do 16 segments, we put it into the 16 pin, into the 16 hole, set our miter gauge, and now when we cut 16 pieces, they're going to all line up to make a full 360-degree circle without any gaps or spaces in our miters. We're going to take a close look at 7 sides. How many of y'all know what the setup for a 7-sided picture frame would be? The angle? Well, let me just tell you, it'd be 25.714, not the most common scale on your miter gauge. Let's go ahead and lock in the miter gauge and take it over to the table saw. Now that we've got our miter gauge set to 25.714 degrees, we're going to take our stock and cut the first end off the edge. Got our pieces cut to size and shape, let's go ahead and put them together to see how they fit. Where we use tape to line all these segments up. Now that I have all 7 pieces on the tape, let's roll it up. There, exact results every time. That's the accuracy of the MiterSet. No gaps, no spaces.